Today, we're talking about a Supreme Court case that could reshape presidential power, a record breaking Boeing deal overseas, a mystery near Taylor Swift's Rhode Island home, and the return of a legendary talent show. Yes, Star Search is back, and as a former American Idol finalist, I will tell you how to try out for this one. And here's today's trivia question: which state's official sport is jousting? No clue, but it sounds dangerous to me. I'll tell you at the end of the show. It's Friday, May 16th. This is the Flyover Podcast. Welcome to the Flyover Podcast, taking you above the noise for an unbiased, high-altitude view of today's headlines with daily coverage that's honest and refreshing. Let's cruise the news and land the facts. Good morning, I'm your weekday host, Ayla Brown. It's Friday. We've made it on pots of coffee, great headlines, and for me, a little extra under-eye concealer. But before you go any further, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Picasso. Picasso isn't just another real estate company, and I'll tell you why in less than 10 minutes. But first, let's get to the top headlines of the day. Get ready for takeoff. Let's jump into your top stories of the day. The Supreme Court took on a big constitutional question on Thursday. How much power should federal judges have when it comes to stopping presidential actions nationwide? This comes as the court reviews President Trump's executive order aimed at ending birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. to illegal immigrants. That order has been blocked by multiple lower courts and is currently being challenged by 22 states. Now, the justices didn't weigh in on whether the policy itself is constitutional. That's still undecided, but they focused heavily on whether a single judge should be able to block a federal policy across all 50 states. Justices from both sides of the aisle expressed concern that without nationwide injunctions, we could end up with conflicting policies on something as major as citizenship. A final ruling is expected by June, but for now, Trump's order remains on hold. Meanwhile, in a major business story, Boeing has just secured the biggest aircraft order in its history, a massive $96 billion deal with Qatar Airways. The order includes 130 Dreamliners, 30 777X aircraft, and options for 50 more. Empowering this fleet, over 400 GE Aerospace engines, making it the largest wide-body engine order GE has ever received. The announcement came during President Trump's visit to Doha, and it's part of a broader set of U.S.-Qatar agreements totaling over $243 billion. The White House says the Boeing deal alone could support about 154,000 American jobs per year, giving a major boost to the U.S. aerospace industry as it continues to rebound. And if you're looking to brighten up your garden this spring, here's something very new. Glow-in-the-dark petunias are officially on store shelves. The Firefly petunias, developed by Idaho-based biotech startup Light Bio, emit a natural green glow at night. They do this using genes borrowed from a luminous mushroom. Yes, you heard that right. These glowing flowers were approved by the USDA in late 2023 and had only been available online until now. As of this week, they're in more than 200 garden centers across the country, including select Home Depot locations. They're being sold as live plant only, so no seeds, no bulbs, but they're about $14 a pop, and they come in compostable pots, just in time for peak planting season. Let me know in the comments section if you've heard of these or if you're going to be buying some of these. Now, let's take a spin through the world of politics. First, Congressman Sri Tanadar, a Democrat from Michigan, has withdrawn his impeachment resolution against President Trump. He introduced the measure earlier this week, but pulled it back on Wednesday after facing backlash from party leadership, who called the effort a, quote, distraction. The resolution wasn't expected to move forward, but it still stirred debate within the Democratic caucus. In Wisconsin, Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan appeared in federal court on Thursday, where she pleaded not guilty to charges of helping a Mexican illegal immigrant evade immigration arrest. The charges stem from an incident where Dugan allegedly interfered with an ICE detainment. Her trial date is set for July 21st, and it's already drawing national attention due to the rare nature of a sitting judge facing federal charges. Meanwhile, some former Biden administration officials are offering praise for President Trump's recent foreign policy moves in the Middle East. They've noted his quick pace and his willingness to sidestep traditional diplomatic channels, moves that have raised eyebrows but also drawn respect from some of his past critics, particularly in relation to recent talks involving Syria, Israel, and the Abraham Accords. And finally, Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be heading to Vatican City this Sunday to represent the U.S. at Pope Leo XIV's inaugural Mass. The White House hasn't said whether President Trump will attend in person yet. We are brought to you by Picasso. Let me put this into perspective. Picasso is backed by heavy hitters like SoftBank and Mavron, the same VCs that backed companies like eBay and Allbirds. So why are they investing? Because Picasso, started by Zillow's co-founder, is changing the way people buy second homes. It's already done over $1 billion in real estate transactions, and the momentum is global. Record sales in Paris. They've got 8 homes in Cabo, and they just closed their most expensive home yet in London. No wonder gross profit grew 41% in 2024. The opportunity for you, are you listening? You can invest now at just $2.80 a share. By the way, this isn't a crypto token or some vaporwave idea. This is real equity in a company and a real venture-backed company. But again, the price changes on May 29th. Head to picasso.com/theflyover to get the full picture and make your move before that date. Again, that's PACASO.com/theflyover, or click on the link in the description below. From a $20 million crypto ransom to a curse on Senator Ted Cruz, and how you or your super talented friend can audition for the return of Star Search. Plus, human remains were discovered near Taylor Swift's Rhode Island home. We've got a little bit of everything today, and it's all coming up after finance. Let's check in on what's happening in the world of business and finance. United Health Group took a major hit on Thursday. Its stock dropped 11% after the Justice Department announced a fraud investigation into the company. The news dragged down other healthcare stocks as well, making it one of the most significant sector-wide drops of the day. In a big retail move, Dick's Sporting Goods has agreed to acquire Foot Locker for $2.4 billion. The deal sent Foot Locker's stock soaring up 85% as investors reacted to the news. And it was a very big surprise of the merger of the two biggest names in sporting goods and footwear. Coinbase is dealing with a serious cybersecurity breach. The cryptocurrency exchange revealed that hackers stole personal customer data and are now demanding a $20 million ransom to keep it from being released. It's one of the biggest threats the company has faced to date, as concerns about digital security continue to rise in the crypto space. And in media news, video podcasts are getting the spotlight at this year's Upfront presentations. Amazon is promoting a podcast featuring NFL brothers Jason and Travis Kelce, while Netflix says it's exploring ways to add video podcasts to its lineup too. Advertisers are watching closely as streaming platforms look to blend traditional media with podcasting's growing influence. And need I remind you that you are doing a great job by listening and watching the Flyover podcast. Share it with a friend, keep commenting, and it really goes a long way. Here's what moved on the stock market yesterday. The Nasdaq dipped slightly, down about 0.2%, while the S&P 500 managed a modest gain of 0.4%. The Dow Jones had a stronger day, climbing around 0.7% to lead the major indexes. In crypto, Bitcoin was pretty much flat, down about 0.1%, and over in commodities, gold jumped nearly 2%, marking one of its bigger moves of the week. Let's take a lap around the world of sports. The 2025 NCAA Division I Women's Softball Tournament kicks off today with regional games taking place across the country. It's the start of what's always a high-energy, high-stakes road to the Women's College World Series, so expect big plays and even bigger upsets. Which is a great transition to this story. Over in the MLB, the Boston Red Sox pulled off one of the more entertaining defensive plays of the week. Two outfielders, seemingly by accident, it was right fielder Abreu and center fielder Rafaela, combined to take a home run away from Detroit Tigers slugger Kerry Carpenter in the seventh inning at Comerica Park. Have you ever played hot potato? It was like that, and whether it was pure instinct or happy coincidence, the catch kept the ball in the park and had fans cheering for the chaos because it pretty much was chaotic. In Texas, Democrats are jokingly, or maybe not so jokingly, trying to ban Senator Ted Cruz from attending college sports games, saying that his presence brings bad luck. They're calling it a curse, while Cruz's team has brushed it off as partisan clickbait. Either way, this may be the first time a politician has been accused of jinxing an entire football program. Who would have thought? And some great news to close out the sports segment. Legendary college basketball announcer Dick Vitale announced that he is cancer-free after battling multiple forms of the disease in recent years. Vitale shared the update with his fans, saying that he's ready to get back to doing what he loves, calling games and spreading that signature awesome baby with a capital A energy. I am so happy to hear that news. Time to check in on what's new in science and technology. First, a genetic mystery has finally been solved. Scientists in Japan and the U.S. have discovered why most ginger cats are male. It turns out they're missing a part of pigment gene on the X chromosome. It's a quirk of feline genetics that's puzzled researchers for decades. Next, a major futuristic update for the Olympics. Archer Aviation has been chosen as the official air taxi provider for the 2028 Los Angeles Games. The company plans to transport VIPs, athletes, and possibly emergency responders using electric aircraft that take off and land vertically. It's part of a broader push toward clean, high-tech mobility solutions. That will be crazy if you're there seeing that. And finally, a new review of 51 studies published in Nature magazine finds that ChatGPT significantly improves student learning, especially when it comes to solving problems and understanding complex topics. Researchers say the tool is most effective when used as a tutor or learning assistant, not as a replacement for teaching, but a strong complement to it. Now let's talk entertainment, because there is a lot going on, from beachside mysteries to death-defying stunts. First up, human remains were discovered near Taylor Swift's mansion in Rhode Island on Wednesday. Authorities say no foul play is suspected, and the remains were found on a public beach not far from Swift's property. Still, the news has drawn a lot of attention given the high-profile location. Officials are working to identify the individual, and Taylor herself is not connected to the incident in any way. But it's definitely added some eerie buzz to what's usually a quiet coastal town. In TV news, Netflix is bringing back Star Search, the classic talent show that helped launch the careers of people like Beyoncé, Justin Timberlake, and Britney Spears. The reboot will include music, comedy, dance, and they even have a kids category. So if you've got talent and a camera, everyone, applications are open. You can find all of the sign-up information on today's email edition of The Flyover. Send this to someone who you think should compete on the show. Jointheflyover.com for all of that info, and info on every single story that I'm talking about today in the podcast. Over at Cannes, Tom Cruise stole the spotlight, literally and figuratively. He received a 5-minute standing ovation after screening Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, the latest installment in the franchise. Cruise, who's known for doing his own stunts, continues to defy both gravity and age, jumping out of planes, clinging to trains, and generally refusing to use green screens like a normal human being. Good for him. Still to come, Trump's daughter gives birth. More than 1,000 baristas go on strike from a popular coffee chain, and the poll and trivia questions. It's Friday. Let's end on a strong note. Here are a few more headlines catching attention this week. At Harvard University, a simple library purchase from 1946 just turned into a historical jackpot. The school recently discovered that a $27.50 book is actually a rare version of the Magna Carta, dating back to the 1300s. Experts say it could be worth millions, and yes, it had just been sitting quietly in the archives for decades. Talk about overdue value. And over at Starbucks, more than 1,000 baristas at 75 locations have gone on strike since Sunday. The protest centers around a dress code change requiring black shirts, which workers say has hurt morale and wasn't communicated well. The walkout adds to ongoing tensions between employees and the company around union efforts and workplace conditions. And in family news, Tiffany Trump has welcomed her first child. Baby Alexander Trump Wallace is Trump's 11th grandchild and the first for Tiffany's mother, Marla Maples. Both mom and baby are said to be doing well. Congratulations. It's Friday and it's time for the polls. Here are yesterday's results. Did you walk to school? 60% said yes, 24% said no, and 16% said sometimes. Walking to school, by the way, is great, and it makes me so happy that most of you actually did that while you were younger. But here is the poll question for today. Which social media platform do you prefer? There are many different ways you can answer: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, X, other, or none. My question is LinkedIn actually a social media platform? I had no idea. So if that's the case, I primarily use Facebook, Instagram, and I guess LinkedIn. But if I had to choose, I would say Facebook because my Facebook followers are super loyal to me, and I'm very grateful for that. But you can find me on social media, by the way, on Facebook at Ayla Brown Music, and you can connect with me there. I am a musician, so you'll hear a lot of music. You'll also learn way too much about my personal life, but isn't that what social media is for? Amy Hess, your weekend host, will read the answers to these poll questions in tomorrow's show. Here's today's trivia question. Which state's official sport is jousting? The answer? Maryland, of course, where knights in shining armor never really went out of style. It's been the official state sport since 1962, and yes, they still do the whole lance on horseback thing, just with a little less combat and a lot more pageantry. That's a wrap for the flyover. I'm Ayla Brown, and as always, thanks for starting your day with me. I'll be off for the weekend, but don't worry, Amy Hess will be here to keep you updated on the news and top headlines, and I'll be back first thing with you on Monday morning. Keep sharing the flyover to one person if you liked what you heard today, and two people if you loved what you heard. I'll be checking to see if you actually did. Until then, have a great weekend, and thanks for flying with us.